I'd like to call to order the special Board of Education meeting on Monday, November 3rd at 5:48 p.m. Ellen, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger.
Here.
Ms. Conway. Here. Mr. Corey.
Here.
Mr. Cronin.
Here.
Mr. Predis.
Here.
Mr. Ugolito.
Here.
Ms. Hona here. Mr. Kisco.
Here.
Mr. Knight. Here. Mr. Putnam.
Here.
Mayor Carbona, representative. Should I read? Okay. Dr. Baker, excused. Ms. Ferguson,
Excuse.
excused. Ms. Labby. Here. Mr. Pergola.
Here.
Ms. Schulte, excused. Ms. Vians,
Excuse.
excused. Mr. Wilson.
Here.
All set.
Okay. So item number 3, possible executive session for discussion regarding a MOU with the TEA. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are we leaving, or actually, Back in open session at 6:14. Agenda item number 4, possible action regarding a MOU with the TEA. All right, so do I hear a motion to authorize the superintendent to update the memorandum of understanding as discussed in our executive session and to work with the co-chairs on getting it signed and the union president?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All right, so let's take a vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? No. Okay, so 9-1, motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Let's see, item number 5, discussion regarding snow removal bids with possible action. Dean, this is you.
Yes, it is.
And Glenn.
Be careful, the staples weren't quite thick enough and it's the tree to the other side.
Trying to draw one, so.
No.
Special meeting.
Work with the on executing. Thanks, Dean.
Secretary, my second one is, that shouldn't be a front page, but it is, so you're gonna have to open up to see the result. I can explain a little bit, sorry about that. So if you go in past the actual melt stop sign, it should have been first, and you find a page that said good results, looks like this here, sorry.
Yeah. Kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, it should have been top. So we had, and only 2 people bid. The other person showed interest, did not come for the bid opening. So these are the 2 that we had. We have Melts of Connecticut LLC. The rest of the numbers and the other stuff is in the contract I put in. This is just an overview of the numbers, where they came in. First year at $94,000, second at $98,700, and the third year at $103,635. And you can see the other contractor's number in there also.
445, 470, 498.5.
Yep, Jesperson.
State the differences, yeah.
Yep.
Information.
Yep, so Jesperson was the other contractor, and year 1 was 445, second year was 470, and third year was 498.5. Okay? So if you go back to the first page now, and if you see notes here, did give a little bit of an overview. If you didn't know who they were, unlike, we know Jesperson, most everybody knows what they do they do landscaping, and the same idea. Ability statement together, along with some experience and knowledge that's the beginning of this bid.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You're a little hard to hear. Can these be just sent to my email so I can look at them as you go over it? Because I'm having a bit of trouble hearing. And I don't need you guys to fix that. I just need an email.
I think it's in our email.
7:30 this morning.
Yep, it came early. You may not be able to get to it while you're driving, unless you can pull over. Let me see.
I'm pulled up now.
Okay, see if you,
7 a.m.
Yeah.
from board clerk.
I mean, the scope of work is similar, they're just that much different in pricing?
Yes, so the scope of work is exactly the same. Again, what I did include tonight, which you probably don't have any documents because I've been waiting to get some information, is again, if you look at, I have a snow bid checklist in there that I went through to make sure everything was included in the bid for both contractors, and they both passed. I put the one in here for Melts, just a checklist of what we're looking for on the bid. I also went and again was waiting for a third reference from Melts I had two of them. I talked to them specifically and filled this form out. You can see their references in here. The third one never filled one out, but he did text me, and that should also be included. And maybe it didn't come through. Here's your references. So the short.
What, Joe? What, Bill? I'm sorry.
I had a question. I'm just wondering why such a disparity in the cost of the bids?
It's a good question. So it's a gamble. Snow removal is a gamble. So I think the higher price was basing it on worst case scenario, and maybe the lower price wasn't based on worst case scenario, was my initial thought. So I took off this morning and I went to see these guys, and I wanted to see the equipment they had and see how they're set up. And learning today, again, I do have some pictures in there of some of the equipment that he has. Yep.
Wow.
Some equipment that this guy has. And
That's just some equipment?
That's some. So along with, having all this heavy equipment, he also has a couple of different strategies he uses that I think possibly keeps his price down. I'm saying possibly. He makes his own brine, which is a solution of salt and a few other things that you put down pre and post of a storm to help with it. So you eliminate a lot of movement of the snow because it breaks down before that and makes it easier. Another thing he incorporates is snow melt. So he has machines that, quarter size of this room, that he will place, and he will take his loaders and fill it up with snow and it melts it down the water over catch basins or areas of that nature. So you're eliminating a lot of moving of snow that we would normally, a contractor with less stuff would just plan on paying for manpower and large equipment to move snow around. Where I think his strategy is move less. And yes.
I have a question on that. So the tank that they would have for that snow melt, that would be on our property?
So he has 3 of them that he uses. As needed, he will, and it's something that's movable, depending on how much we had to melt at that time. Now, you wouldn't do this after the first storm. This is when the snow gets to the point where you start to take up parking places.
Yeah.
And I said, now what do we do with it? Do we move it from one part of the project to another? Do we get it off the project, depending on where it is? That's when that kind of comes into play. So he wouldn't store it here. I don't think he would. But, I guess one of your questions too with this is, if you look at it, is he comes from the other side of the state. His company, where this stuff is in Franklin, which is about an hour and a half away. So, I did go there to see his stuff today. I wanted to see how long it was. Number one, and also just see his equipment. I was impressed with his equipment, and I was just impressed with the ride, because it's an hour and 40 minutes. So I asked him how he was going to be able to handle it here. And he does our BJ's parking lot here in Torrington. He also does, he plants a lot of his equipment to Stop and Shop in Waterbury. That big parking lot over there, so I took it right out there also, and he's got his blocks up with his salt there, and I guess he loads that up with equipment. His crew also, he has 2 people that work from Torrington that works for him, and he's got some other people that work for him in the local area, Watertown, down Route 8. He said, no, I've been talking now, but in that area, and he plans on putting this with 6 people on the machine, 6 people on hand, whether he has to do handwork or not. So he plans on, putting the manpower here when needed. He will be meeting with me if we award the contract to go over the exact plan of what we want to, do with the snow and where to put it, and kind of get an idea of what the rate of wind is for.
Kristen has a question before you go on, Dean, hold on.
I actually don't have a question. I do need to leave soon to get my kids. I'll join the Zoom link. Josh just sent it to me.
Okay.
I do want to say thank you, Dean. I know you worked really hard on this to get this done fast and effectively. This is really great information. So thank you for the hard work.
Thank you.
before you go, I don't know if you even need to go on, I'm thinking we might be able to take a vote at this point. Nobody wants to spend $500,000 on snow removal.
Yeah.
We don't have $500,000 to spend on snow removal, so you guys wanna,
Little comfort, the snow, I talked about this before, and my son Garrett, the Connecticut Airport Authority uses this fellow, I don't know this fellow, for some of their airports. They, again, no guarantees, I can't, but they have a good reputation. He has the equipment, and when you do snow melt, one of the biggest costs is removing snow. If I have to remove snow from little parking lots, it could be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a 40-car parking lot. You have to bring the snow somewhere. When you melt it, it doesn't have to go anywhere. It saves a lot of money. They're expensive machines, but he uses them at airports, he uses them everywhere.
So I'm guessing the disparaging price, I think that has a lot to do with that.
do you guys wanna talk, I don't, personally don't wanna go over Jesperson's quote, but I would like to answer any questions you have on this one, and then maybe we can
Just for
take.
clarification, Dean, I think that Jesperson does the BJ's parking lot, not these guys.
No,
That's what the quote says. I'm looking at what was sort of sent out by email, page 15 of 18. Jesperson's landscaping references Kelly Voss, BJ's.
Yeah, because Developer Realty owns BJ's, the actual facility. And Jesperson actually gave the same reference for 2 of his jobs.
Well,
trucks went there this week.
Jesperson,
Well, Developer Realty owns both of the properties.
Yeah, but they've been-
so maybe they both do it.
no, maybe, I don't know, maybe just have done it. Do you think you still have to? I don't know.
Oh, and it was on his reference sheet, that's all.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Well, it doesn't mean, if he uses them as a reference, doesn't mean he still plows for them, they're just a reference.
So the references I did talk to were Connecticut Airport Authority, and also Maine Power Company, they use them, because he's up in that area, and also Fusco out of New Haven.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
It's in line with the price that
Yeah.
we were paying, so nobody's gonna argue about it. Public record, I was just trying to be transparent. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, I didn't see Jesperson last year, but.
So,
All right.
Alan?
And he knows it's a school, does he do other schools?
yes, so he also does, and they didn't get back to me, he did a leaf plant phone tag, Scarborough School
Oh, that's me.
in Maine,
You're saying he's.
and he does, Somerton. So I got a call to those guys just today, I got these from, it wasn't on his reference, but when I went to speak to him, I wanted to know if he did schools, and he told me those 2.
Right, so he knows that he would have to be early to open
Yeah,
the school,
yeah.
so that.
Yeah, I went over so many hours with them and our expectations when we open school and we don't, so,
If they say they can do it, Dean, I think we have no credible reason not to give them a chance.
I agree.
It's a significant cost difference between the 2.
We just simply don't have the money for the other one, plain and simple.
My thought with the Jesperson quote is it's so high he doesn't want it. Is that,
That's what I was.
I mean,
Or he thought nobody was showing up.
you know, because you set a price, you want to put in a bid because they do our landscaping, right?
yeah.
So,
I don't think he does it the way, I mean, when it comes to saline or using the salt, most larger firms, they lay the salt down, leaving the solution, and it prevents snow plowing. I mean, if you do it routinely, even Brian Mancini does it.
Kristen has to leave.
I don't have any more questions. If you
Better-
do,
I can give a vote, if we could, so we don't have to wait for you to
I
get
can
the
wait
call,
for the
call.
I can wait for the
I'm
vote.
done.
Okay, what's the vote?
Discussion regarding, with possible action. So the vote is, we're looking for a motion to, give the superintendent, or dean through the superintendent, authorization to enter into a contract with Nelts of Connecticut LLC.
So moved.
First, second pick. Jeff, second, you said, okay. Any discussion, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Ed, are you there?
Yeah, I'm
Bad zone.
You're for it?
yeah. Can you hear me? I'm voting yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, motion carries. One last quick item, Kristen, you can, Michael, I'll just give it to you. Okay, thank you for waiting. just a quick discussion regarding the state accountability index. This just came out, actually the day after our board meeting, and it was so incredible. I figured we're meeting tonight anyway, let's just touch base on it briefly so that we can broadcast the results, which are amazing.
So, thank you. I'm very excited. What you have in front of you this evening is our accountability index, and Assistant Superintendent Ferguson will obviously take this to the next level. I'm sure with the SIC committee, but also obviously we had a full board meeting, but when Sue and I had chatted, we are impressed with these results. Our accountability index, and I'll just take you through it. First 2 pages is how we do in our reference group as well as surrounding districts. And the great news there, we rank 10 out of 21. Page 3 just does a nice visual where it shows our Torrington color right there at 68.7. What's more interesting is if you look at the next page, forget the top for a second, I'll go back to that in a moment. But if you look at the next page and you look at our index, we are at 68.7, we are higher than we were back in 2018-19. And in the last 3 years, we've increased. So a 68.7 and we're still on the rise is amazing. Now at the top of that page, I reference PE because while we are making great strides in mathematics and ELA and we are not calling anyone out, you've heard me say data is never an I got you, it's where we're going. But if you look, what I did was I put into the formula from the state of Connecticut 0.3% to a 29.2. 29.2 is still not acceptable because if we go to a 50, our rank would jump to 9. If we go to a 60, our rank would jump to a 7. And if we go to a 70, our rank would jump to district-wide professional development. The Department of Teaching and Learning will be making sure to make physical education teachers and share this very thing, because these are points where we can get an 9, 7, and 5. That would have brought our numbers up into the 70s, which would be phenomenal. Also proud to mention on the next page, I'm sure everyone is wondering, how did the schools do? You want to know schools where they are. Well, we have 2 schools of distinction, Forbes School and Torrington School, and you see I bolded them in green. 75.8 for Forbes, 78.8 for Torrington. This board has heard me say numerous times, if we get to 80, we are beyond rock star status. So to be at 79 and be that darn close and getting our PE numbers up, we are doing some really, really, really amazing things. If we turn the page, Southwest has a similar story. You see a nice green bar there at 77.8. Once again, close. Now we know that those 2 schools merged, Forbes and Southwest. Sky's the limit for our intermediate school where we're located this evening. Obviously, Global Wetmore took a little bit of a decline last year. That has been discussed and we will continue to discuss in their accountability index. There are a couple of factors in there that Assistant Superintendent Ferguson and I are aware of and have spoken to administration and will continue to speak. This board has been very concerned about the middle school. I've heard it 3 years ago saying, how are we doing at the middle school? What's going on at the middle school? And if you look at the last 3 years, we went from 50 to a 54 to a 56. So while the middle school needs to get up into the 70s, that shows that we are putting our laser-like focus on the middle school. I know, Gary, I don't want to call you out, but you've asked me several times what's going on at the middle school. This accountability index shows there is more work to do. We're not shying away from that. But to increase by that number of points over these 3 years has really been tremendous. And our high school remains relatively flat, which is something we have to look at. But remember, in the high school, it's a little different now because of the all-day SAT. All-day SAT kind of throws a bolt in the works. It's not as if you have the option to take it anymore. The state of Connecticut made that decision that it has to be the all-day SAT. So I know, John, at the SIC committee, you guys have probably talked about that a couple of times, but that's why also that number is reflected, and that's why it is flat. Now, that doesn't mean there's not more work to do. There is a ton more work to do, but I can tell you, and I know Sue kind of teed it up, these results is something that the board should be extremely proud of. Extremely proud to see that the accountability index is up and rising, and to see that we are ranked where we should be according to our DERG in our district. Gary?
I would agree, thank you. The phys ed thing, I think, is a simple thing. I don't understand why we don't have phys ed. I know.
We do have phys ed, that's the problem.
No, wait a minute.
We have it, they're just not enforcing it.
No, we have not had, kids coming out of high
That's the
school.
problem, what you're trying to say is the problem.
No, let me finish. Kids coming out of school these days, 21% of the kids qualify for military. It used to be 78 to 80%. We don't have phys ed, not here, it's every school. We're one of the worst in the state. But we have to have classes. We don't have phys ed.
What do we do? Don't we have phys ed, we're required by law to have phys ed classes.
Just relax for a second. How often do we have phys ed? How often do we have phys ed in Torrington?
I know where you're going.
It's twice a week, right, for most grades?
How many years?
Amanda, I know what you're saying, Gary.
Well, it has to be discussed because you can't.
Correct.
We have to either expand it like it used to be when we were in school, where everybody has phys ed twice a week for 4 years, or if we do it for 2 quarters out of 4 years, our kids are fat, and they can't lose weight, and they get lazy, and they sit in the classroom, and they're bored. I mean, Ellen knows, she's my age almost, I'm a little younger than you, no, I'm older than you, excuse me.
No, you're not.
I know. I mean, you have to have time for phys ed. We don't have enough phys ed teachers, we don't have enough programs for phys ed.
Well, Gary, these numbers show the board, now you know you have to push for phys ed.
I pushed it last year, I know, I'm agreeing.
You need to push for teachers, if you want the scores to go up, then should be your focus. Yeah.
4 years, twice a week.
No, and Gary, your point is well taken, it's kind of, I don't want to say funny, but Sue Ferguson and I had chatted about it, she goes, I can guarantee, board member Nicolito is going to make a comment this evening. But I think, what the way that we're trying to combat it is also through movement breaks, also through, for example, Forbes School last year did a push-up of the day where they started on Monday, let's do 2 today, and everyone for their 10-minute homeroom did 2, and then the next week it was 3, and it was everyone in the building, including the custodian, so
That's why Forbes
Will we be
score is
the
79.
presidential fitness award again, because that's gonna take a lot more.
Yeah.
We need a serious.
No, we do it over, and that's why
We need a lot more.
that's why I purposely put the numbers in, Gary, to show everyone, as I said, not an I got yous of where we're going, because once we achieve those points in our 70s, we're doing some really big stuff here at Torrington.
You just have to figure out a way
How are
to
these
get it.
grades or scores counted? Nobody mentioned the overview, and how do you get a 29 in physical ed? Why does one school, who are they served at?
Yeah, so Sue will talk more about that at SICK in the next time. So how it works is, the phys ed, and I don't want to make it sound so rudimentary, so I'm going to apologize. The same test for the last 20 years.
Yes.
So it's a sit and reach, it's a run, it's a pacer, it's.
Remember, yeah.
So that is how it gets scored by the phys ed teacher, the scores get entered into the state of Connecticut.
And our scores are horrible.
Yeah. So that's
the.
I've heard of
Yeah. So
that.
it's just a matter of getting back to Gary's point, increasing physical
Staffing,
activity,
time.
whatever it is you have to do. I want, I kept mine,
There's
those
60
extras.
kids in phys ed classes here.
But I do think, and I hear you, I just wanted to share, though, I think this is something that the board should be very proud
That's
of
great,
this evening.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you, I think this is a proud moment for all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Sue for all her hard work. You know, Sue Ferguson, all her hard work getting it, the curriculum and.
Oh, absolutely,
The
yeah.
math and the English and.
Phonics reading
Yeah.
program, huge. You can see that in Torringford, those numbers right
Yeah.
there. All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very